The Aurora's dawn drifted quietly through the endless darkness of Sector 47B, far from any known trade routes or human colonies. Its engines were silent, powered only by the gentle hum of life support systems that kept the crew alive and alert. Commander Lila Vance stood at the bridge window, her eyes scanning the black void. The stars outside seemed cold and distant, as though they were silent witnesses to the emptiness surrounding them. It was Engineer Kai Torres who first spotted the anomaly. "Captain," he called, pointing at the main display. "We've got something on the sensors. Not moving, just drifting." Lila turned, narrowing her eyes at the faint blip that appeared on the screen. It was a ship unlike anything she had ever seen. Its shape was sleek, elongated, almost elegant, but it carried no markings, no lights, and no signs of life. "Drifting ships aren't unusual," she said cautiously, her voice steady. "But this one, there's something off about it." Lieutenant Zara Kim leaned forward, peering at the holographic projection. "It doesn't respond to hails. No signals, no transponder. Almost like it's dead." Lila nodded. The Aurora's dawn had a small exploration crew, hand-picked for missions in uncharted space. They had faced dangers before: asteroid fields, rogue comets, mechanical failures, but something about this silent ship made her uneasy. "We need to know what's inside," she said after a moment. "Prepare a boarding party, suit up, and take all necessary precautions." Kai and Zara exchanged a glance. Boarding an unknown vessel in deep space was always risky, yet the air was filled with curiosity and a sense of duty. Humanity had always pushed the limits, exploring what others feared. And now, the Aurora's dawn had a mystery waiting for them. The docking procedure was tense. The Eclipse, as the crew had unofficially named it, floated in silence, its hull unblemished despite years of drifting through space. Magnetic clamps secured the two ships together, and the airlock hissed open. Lila led the team, stepping carefully onto the other ship. The interior was dimly lit, bathed in a faint bluish glow from overhead panels. It smelled of sterile metal, a scent that reminded the crew of abandoned stations back on Earth. Kai's scanner beeped softly. "Life signs. Minimal. Maybe one, maybe none. Hard to tell." They moved cautiously, each step echoing in the quiet corridors. The walls were smooth and seamless, designed in a style that felt both familiar and alien. Doors opened automatically as they approached, sliding silently to reveal rooms filled with untouched equipment and neatly arranged supplies. It was as if the ship had been waiting, frozen in time. Zara ran her hand over a console, and the lights flickered in response. "It's active in some way," she said, her voice low. "Not much, but it's responding to us." Then it happened. From the far end of a corridor they heard it, a soft knock. 1, 2, 3, repeated in a steady rhythm. The sound came from a sealed cabin, a door that looked almost ordinary but somehow demanded attention. The crew froze. Lila raised a hand, signaling them to stop. "Did you hear that?" she asked quietly. Kai nodded, checking his scanner. "It's coming from inside. There's something in there. Life signs. Definitely human, or at least biological. But cameras show nothing." Zara swallowed hard. "Could it be an automated system? Some kind of security protocol?" "Maybe," Lila said, her mind racing. "But I don't like it. Stay alert. Don't touch anything without my command." They moved closer, scanning the door carefully. Kai's hand hovered over the interface panel. "It's locked, not responding to standard overrides. Whoever or whatever is inside, they don't want to be disturbed." Lila took a deep breath. Humanity had always faced the unknown with courage. She reminded herself of that now. "We'll proceed, but we do it carefully. Zara, Kai, stay behind me. No sudden moves." Kai accessed a portable override device. Sparks flew briefly as it interfaced with the cabin door. The knocking stopped, as if the being or the system inside had noticed their attempt. Silence returned. The tension in the air was almost tangible. Then, without warning, the door hissed open. A faint mist drifted out, swirling around their boots. Lila raised her hand to stop the others. Inside the room was a single capsule, its surface smooth and metallic. A soft blue glow emanated from within, casting shadows across the walls. The knocking came again, from the capsule itself. The sound was gentle, deliberate. Someone or something was inside, trying to communicate. Zara's eyes widened. It's alive. Someone is inside that chamber. Kai's scanner confirmed it. Life signs, faint but definite, pulsed from the capsule. Human, he said, almost in disbelief. Heart rate is low, almost in stasis, but alive. Lila's mind raced. Stasis chambers were used for long voyages, for survival when travel times exceeded human lifespans. But this ship was not human. And yet, the life inside the capsule was unmistakably human. Whatever brought them here, we need to know, Lila said. Her voice was steady, but her hands clenched slightly. She could feel the weight of responsibility pressing on her shoulders. Kai, prepare the tools. We need to access the chamber without harming the occupant. As Kai worked, the crew's eyes scanned the rest of the room. Data pads lined the walls, showing logs of past activity. Most entries were blank or corrupted, but some showed coordinates, energy readings, and messages that hinted at a long voyage gone awry. Minutes stretched like hours as Kai carefully unlocked the chamber. Finally, with a soft hiss, the capsule opened. Inside, a figure lay motionless, pale, almost fragile, yet unmistakably human. The knocking had stopped, replaced by a soft, rhythmic sound, breathing. Lila knelt beside the chamber, placing a gloved hand on the occupant's shoulder. "Can you hear me?" she asked. Slowly, the eyes opened. They were wide, uncomprehending, and filled with confusion. "Where?" The voice was weak, barely a whisper. "Where am I?" "You're safe," Lila said gently. "You're on a human ship. My name is Commander Lila Vance. We found you drifting inside this ship." The occupant tried to speak, but faltered, their lips trembling. Zara handed over a water pack, which they accepted with trembling hands. Slowly, color returned to their face, and the reality of waking from decades in stasis, or perhaps more, began to sink in. Kai examined the capsule's systems. "This is advanced technology," he muttered. "Not human, but somehow it preserved them perfectly. The ship itself must have been monitoring the occupant all this time." The occupant finally sat up, still weak but alert. I don't remember anything. My name, I think it's Alara." Her voice was small, fragile, but carried a spark of life. Why am I here?" "You were drifting," Lila explained. "We found your ship. We don't know exactly how long you've been in stasis, but we'll help you recover." Alara's eyes scanned the crew, her gaze curious and wary. "The ship. It knocked. It wanted me to wake." Lila exchanged a glance with Kai and Zara. "You think the ship is alive?" Alara nodded faintly. It watches over us, guides us, keeps us safe. It waits until we are ready." For a moment, the crew was silent, absorbing the idea. Humanity had always imagined life among the stars as lonely, filled with endless voids. Yet here was proof that life, in some form, could persist. Intelligence, guidance, protection, it existed beyond human understanding, and now it was intertwined with them. Kai broke the silence. "We need to bring them back to our ship," he said. "The Aurora's dawn is equipped to support life, monitor health, and—" Lila held up her hand. "Not yet. We need to understand the ship first. Ilara, can you walk?" With effort, Ilara rose, gripping the sides of the capsule for support. Her movements were slow, tentative, but human resilience was evident in every step. She walked a few paces before collapsing lightly into Lila's arms. "Take it easy," Lila said. "We'll take it slow." As they prepared to move her, the ship hummed faintly, lights flickering in a pattern that seemed almost deliberate. The knocking had ceased, but the presence of life, or intelligence, was undeniable. The Eclipse was more than a drifting ship. It was a guardian, a vessel carrying secrets, and now it had chosen to reveal one of them, Ilara. Zara looked at Lila. "Captain, whatever this is, it's not just a ship. It's something more, something alive." Lila nodded. "And we are the first humans it has ever trusted. That means responsibility. That means danger. And maybe that means discovery beyond anything we could imagine." For a long moment, the corridor was silent except for the soft hum of the ship. Outside, the stars continued to shine coldly, indifferent to the small human crew standing on the threshold of something extraordinary. But inside the Eclipse, a new chapter was beginning, one that would challenge everything humans knew about courage, intelligence, and life among the stars. And the knocking had stopped. But the story was only just beginning. The Aurora's dawn remained docked to the Eclipse, their hulls touching like hesitant companions in the cold emptiness of space. Inside the silent alien ship, the crew moved carefully, escorting Ilara down the dimly lit corridors. Each step felt heavy with curiosity and caution. The ship seemed to watch them, its walls humming faintly, a presence they could sense but not see. Ilara walked slowly, supported by Commander Lila Vance and Lieutenant Zara Kim. Her eyes roamed the surroundings with wonder, occasionally lingering on control panels that glowed softly. "Everything. It's familiar, yet different," she whispered. "The design, it's not human, but it feels safe." Kai Torres scanned the ship with portable devices, his brow furrowed. "There's a pattern here," he said. "The systems aren't just functional, they're reactive. Almost like the ship knows we're here." Lila nodded. "Then we have to assume it's conscious in some way. That makes it a first contact situation, with a ship." As they moved deeper into the corridors, the atmosphere seemed to shift. Lights flickered gently in a rhythmic pattern, almost like a heartbeat. Machines hummed softly, and every so often, a faint vibration ran through the floor, echoing through the crew's boots. It was subtle but impossible to ignore. Ilara paused at a door that seemed older than the others. "This was my cabin," she said quietly. "I don't remember much, but I feel connected to it." Lila gestured for the crew to stop. "Take only what you need. We don't know what else is inside." Kai carefully scanned the cabin. The walls contained panels displaying star maps, coordinates, and cryptic logs. The symbols were alien, but some sections had annotations in a human-like script. "Someone tried to adapt the ship," he muttered. "Or someone who understands it. Tried to leave messages." Ilara stepped forward, her fingers brushing over the panels. "I remember fragments. A voice, faint but guiding me. The ship. It tried to keep me alive. It waited for someone to find me." Zara shivered slightly. "A ship, waiting for a person? That's incredible." Suddenly, a soft knock echoed through the corridor, deliberate, measured, and steady. The crew froze, instinctively reaching for their sidearms, though they knew instinctively that this was not a threat. The sound seemed to come from the walls themselves, as if the ship was communicating. Ilara closed her eyes, listening. "It's telling me. It wants us to follow." Lila looked at the others, her face calm but serious. "We follow, carefully, but stay alert. This is unknown territory." They moved through twisting corridors, following the subtle guidance of the knocking. The ship's interior seemed alive in ways that were almost magical. Doors opened as they approached, pathways shifted slightly, and gentle lights guided their way like lanterns in the dark. It was as if the ship had a mind of its own, moving in harmony with them, yet remaining unpredictable. After several minutes, they arrived at a larger chamber. The walls curved elegantly, covered with symbols that glowed faintly. In the center stood a platform displaying a holographic map of the galaxy. Points of light blinked along the routes, some of them clearly human colonies, others unknown and mysterious. Ilara stepped forward. This is how it shows me the past, the journeys, the places it has been. Kai studied the hologram closely. These are interstellar routes, decades old. But some points here, they're not on any human charts. This ship traveled further than any human vessel we know. Zara traced a line across the hologram. Look at this pattern. It's almost like a route, a mission. But where was it going? Ilara's voice trembled slightly. It was carrying knowledge, seeds of humanity, records, information, things humans might need someday. It was sent long before humans mastered space travel. It waited until we were ready. Lila's heart quickened. Humanity had always believed in exploration, in pushing boundaries. And now, before them, was proof that the universe had prepared for them in ways they could never have imagined. So the ship, it has been waiting for humans to reach this point, she said softly. Not just drifting, waiting. A sudden alarm-like pulse reverberated through the chamber. The hologram flickered and shifted, highlighting a section of the map with a bright pulse. Something's happening, Kai said, scanning the systems. The ship is pointing out a location, maybe a destination, maybe a warning. Ilara stepped closer to the hologram, her fingers tracing the path. It wants me to see, to understand. This is where it's been taking me in my dreams while I was in stasis. The place we must go. Lila studied the map. We need to document everything. This could be vital for humanity. We can't just take it lightly. As they worked, strange phenomena began to occur. Gravity fields in the chamber shifted slightly, causing objects to float and drift gently before returning to their original positions. Lights pulsed in synchronization with the hologram, and faint whispers filled the room, soft enough to feel like a memory rather than sound. Zara's hand hovered over a panel. The ship. It's alive. I can feel it. It's like it's breathing with us. Kai shook his head, both awed and uneasy. Alive. Yes. But not human. This is something entirely different. It's intelligence, but not like anything we've studied. Ilara nodded. It is guiding us, but it tests us too. It wants to see if we are ready. The crew paused, considering the weight of her words. Humanity had always valued courage, ingenuity, and adaptability. Now, in the face of something truly alien, these traits would be tested like never before. The knocking returned, soft at first, then steadily louder. It was no longer just a sound. It was rhythm, a pulse in the air, a signal they could feel as well as hear. The crew instinctively followed it deeper into the ship, arriving at a corridor that had no visible end. Lila led the way. Stay together, move slowly, don't provoke anything, let the ship guide us. Ilara stepped forward, placing her hand on the wall. The knocking ceased, replaced by a hum that resonated in her chest. It trusts me, she whispered. It trusts us. To understand. They reached a chamber unlike any other. The walls were transparent, showing the blackness of space beyond, but inside floated countless objects suspended as if in zero gravity. Tools, devices, containers, all carefully organized yet free-floating, bathed in the soft glow of the ship's lights. Kai marveled at the scene. It's a repository, a vault of knowledge. Everything the ship has collected over decades, maybe centuries. Ilara reached out and touched one of the floating objects. A soft light enveloped her hand, projecting an image, a star system she did not recognize, planets aligned in perfect formation. The ship was showing them its history, its mission, its reason for existence. Zara whispered, "It's beautiful, but also overwhelming. This ship carries more than any human mind could hold." Lila studied the objects carefully. "And it is giving it to us, slowly, carefully. This is a test of humanity's readiness. If we can understand and preserve this knowledge, we prove that humans are capable of more than survival. We prove we are worthy of exploration and trust." Ilara turned to them, eyes wide with awe. "It saved me, so that one day we could find it. Humanity, it's ready now. We have courage, we have curiosity. We can carry its mission forward." Suddenly, the ship shifted slightly. The floating objects rearranged themselves, forming a pattern that resembled a path through the stars. A soft, almost musical tone filled the room. The ship was speaking, but not in words. It communicated through light, vibration, and rhythm, guiding them toward something greater. Kai exchanged a glance with Lila. "We have to follow this path. Whatever it leads to, it could change everything we know about space travel, about humanity, about life itself." Lila nodded, determination shining in her eyes. "Then we prepare. The Aurora's dawn will follow, but we must first understand what this ship wants and needs. This is not just a discovery, it's a responsibility." The crew spent hours documenting, scanning, and learning. Every new discovery revealed more of the ship's complexity, its intelligence, and its careful planning. The Eclipse was no ordinary ship. It was a living archive, a guardian, and perhaps a teacher. As the crew rested for a brief period, Lila reflected on the day's events. Humanity had always ventured into the unknown, but now the unknown had reached out to them, and in response, humans had shown their courage, their patience, and their unwavering curiosity. The knocking had stopped for now, but the crew knew it would return. The ship had more to show, more tests to offer, and more secrets to reveal. And when it did, humanity would be ready. Outside, the stars continued to shine, cold and distant. But inside the Eclipse, hope and determination burned brightly. Humans had once again proven that they were capable of facing the unknown, learning from it, and using it to grow stronger. And in that silent, drifting ship, a new journey had begun, one that would test the limits of courage, intellect, and humanity itself. The days aboard the Eclipse passed with a strange rhythm, unlike anything the crew had experienced before. Every corner of the ship seemed alive in some subtle way, responding to their presence, guiding them, and occasionally testing their patience. Commander Lila Vance had learned to move slowly, to observe carefully, and to respect the silent intelligence that seemed to inhabit the ship's very walls. Ilara had begun to recover more strength. She walked without assistance, though her movements were still cautious. Her connection to the ship grew stronger each day. Sometimes she paused in a corridor, placing her hand on a panel or the wall itself, her eyes closing as though she were listening to something no one else could hear. Kai Torres continued to examine the ship's systems, marveling at their complexity. "The Eclipse isn't just a ship," he said one day, his voice full of wonder. "It's a fusion of biology and technology, intelligence and engineering. Whoever built this, they were centuries ahead of us." Zara Kim nodded, scanning another chamber filled with floating data modules. "And yet, it waited for humans. For us. There's a purpose here and we're part of it. But I wonder, how much can we handle? How much are we ready for?" Lila stood silently, her thoughts heavy. Humanity had always explored, always adapted, but this was different. The challenges were not just physical, they were mental, emotional, and philosophical. The ship tested them in ways that no natural environment could, and yet the crew had risen to every challenge with courage and ingenuity. That morning, as they moved toward the central chamber where the holographic map of the galaxy glowed softly, a new phenomenon appeared. The corridor ahead shimmered, as if made of liquid light. The knocking returned, gentle at first, then more insistent. Ilara paused, her hand reaching out. "It's calling us," she said softly. "It wants me to see the heart of the ship." Lila signaled the others to follow cautiously. The ship seemed to shift beneath their feet, corridors elongating and twisting, guiding them toward an area that had not appeared on any prior scans. The hum of machinery and the faint glow of panels became stronger, enveloping the crew in an almost tangible presence. When they arrived, they found a large chamber unlike any other. The walls were smooth and seamless, and in the center floated a sphere of shimmering energy. It pulsed gently, like a heartbeat, and the light inside shifted, revealing glimpses of stars, planets, and strange constellations they had never seen. Ilara stepped forward, drawn to the sphere. "This is the core," she whispered. "This is where the ship's consciousness resides, where it thinks and remembers." Kai studied the sphere, awestruck. "It's incredible, a living core. The ship's intelligence. It's here, contained in energy and light. It's not just reactive, it's aware." Zara took a cautious step closer. "Do we communicate with it?" "How?" Ilara reached out with both hands. The sphere's glow intensified and a soft vibration filled the chamber. Images flashed inside the core, scenes of distant stars, ships traveling through space, a younger version of Ilara in stasis, and fragments of alien worlds. It was memory, experience, and intent all at once. The crew watched in silence. Lila felt a shiver run down her spine. Humanity had imagined contact with alien intelligence in stories and simulations, but nothing prepared them for this. Here was a consciousness older than any human civilization, guiding them, yet waiting for humans to rise to its challenges. The sphere pulsed again, and this time the knocking returned, not from the walls, but from within Ilara herself. She gasped, stepping back slightly. "It's trying to speak to me directly. Through me." Lila's voice was calm but firm. "Focus, Ilara. Listen carefully. Understand what it wants, and we'll follow." Ilara closed her eyes. In her mind, she saw flashes of distant systems, messages written in light, and starships she could not name. The ship had traveled far, carrying knowledge and purpose. It had preserved her life in stasis for this moment, waiting for someone who could understand its mission. Finally, she opened her eyes. "It wants to show us the path forward," she said. "A destination beyond the known universe, somewhere humans have never been. It wants us to take the next step, to continue its mission." Kai's eyes widened. "That's interstellar exploration on a scale we've never imagined. The ship wants humans to carry its mission." Zara's voice trembled with excitement. "It trusts us. Us, of all species. That's extraordinary. We can do this if we work together." Lila nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. Humanity had always risen to challenges, but this was unlike anything they had faced before. The unknown now beckoned them, and the ship had chosen them to answer its call. As they prepared to leave the chamber, the ship seemed to react. Doors opened automatically, pathways rearranged themselves, and lights pulsed in rhythm with the sphere's heartbeat. It was as if the ship approved of their progress, guiding them toward the next stage of their journey. But the challenges were not over. As they moved through the twisting corridors, the ship began to test them in subtle ways. Gravity shifted unexpectedly, forcing them to adapt quickly. Some panels displayed incomprehensible symbols, requiring the crew to think creatively to navigate safely. At one point, a corridor tilted sharply, threatening to pin them against the walls. Zara reacted instinctively, using her agility to steady herself and assist Alara. "This is a test," Lila said quietly, her eyes scanning the environment. "The ship isn't hostile. It's assessing our abilities, our courage, our adaptability." Alara nodded. "It wants to know if humans can handle the unknown, if we are ready to explore beyond what we know." The crew worked together seamlessly, relying on ingenuity, trust, and human resilience. Each obstacle was overcome not by brute force, but by cooperation, observation, and careful reasoning. The ship's subtle intelligence guided them, but the humans had to choose how to respond. It was a partnership, fragile yet profound. Hours later, they arrived at a chamber filled with floating archives, holographic records of star systems, alien cultures, and advanced technology. Alara reached out, touching one record. The ship responded immediately, projecting a series of images that told a story of exploration, survival, and purpose. Kai studied the projections in amazement. "This is knowledge humanity has never seen. Advanced propulsion methods, energy systems, even cultural data from civilizations that no longer exist." Zara added, "And the ship? It preserved all of this for humans to find, for us to learn and use responsibly." Alara turned to the crew, her eyes shining. "We are ready. We have courage, curiosity, and intelligence. The ship chose us because it believes in us." Lila felt a surge of pride. Humanity had always faced the unknown with bravery, and now they were being tested in ways that demanded their best. "Then we continue," she said firmly. "We learn, we adapt, and we prepare for what lies ahead. The ship's mission is our mission now." As the crew explored the archives, the ship pulsed with energy, its subtle presence guiding them toward critical information. They discovered propulsion data that could allow faster-than-light travel, star maps that revealed previously unknown systems, and messages from the ship's creators explaining its purpose: to preserve knowledge, protect life, and prepare humanity for the challenges of the universe. Ilara's connection to the ship deepened with every discovery. She began to understand its intentions, its methods, and the logic behind its guidance. "It's not just giving us knowledge," she said. "It's teaching us, showing us how to think, how to prepare, how to survive in ways we never imagined." Kai nodded. "And we need to record everything, study everything. This is humanity's chance to leap forward, technologically, intellectually, and morally." Zara smiled, determination shining in her eyes. "We've faced dangers before, but this is different. We have to prove ourselves worthy of the trust the ship has given us." As the day ended, the crew gathered in the central chamber, the sphere of energy glowing softly in the background. Outside, stars stretched infinitely, indifferent yet beautiful. Inside, humans and ship shared a moment of connection, of mutual respect, curiosity, and trust. Ilara sat quietly, eyes closed, listening to the rhythm of the ship's heartbeat. "It's preparing us," she whispered, "preparing us for what comes next. We are not alone, and we are capable of more than we realize." Lila placed a hand on Ilara's shoulder. "Then we will rise to the challenge. We will explore, learn, and carry forward what this ship has preserved. Humanity has always been resilient, and now we are part of something greater." Kai, Zara, and Lila looked around the chamber, feeling the weight and wonder of the moment. The ship had chosen humans, and humans had risen to meet the test. Courage, intelligence, and determination, the hallmarks of humanity, shone brightly in the dim glow of the eclipse. As they prepared to rest for the night, the ship pulsed once more, a soft, rhythmic signal of approval. The knocking had ceased, replaced by a sense of calm anticipation. The next stage of their journey awaited, and the crew knew that challenges, discoveries, and tests lay ahead. But for the first time, they also knew that they were ready. Together, humans and ship had begun a partnership that would take them farther than any human had ever gone. And in the quiet corridors of the eclipse, hope, courage, and wonder shone brighter than any star. The journey was far from over, but humanity had once again proven that it could face the unknown with ingenuity, determination, and an unyielding spirit. The ship had waited for them, and they had answered the call. The next chapter was theirs to write. The Aurora's dawn floated silently beside the eclipse, its crew fully aware that the most important part of their journey was yet to begin. Every member had learned from the ship, tested their courage, and witnessed intelligence beyond anything they had imagined. Humanity had risen to the challenge, proving that they could not only survive in the unknown, but also adapt and thrive. Ilara walked through the corridors of the eclipse, now moving with confidence. The ship seemed to recognize her fully, responding to her presence with a subtle pulse of light and energy. Each step she took felt connected to the rhythm of the vessel, as if her heartbeat and the ship's pulse were synchronized. She turned to Lila, Kai, and Zara. "It wants us to take control," she said softly. "Not to command it, but to guide it, alongside it. The mission, we are part of it now." Lila nodded. "Then we prepare. The first step is to fully awaken the ship's systems, integrate them with our navigation, and chart a safe course from this abandoned sector. Everything we've learned, the maps, the archives, the technology, we will use, and we will be careful." Kai moved to a console, scanning the ship's interface. The systems responded immediately, lights brightening, panels activating, and soft harmonic tones resonating through the corridors. "The ship is alive," he said, voice full of awe, "and it's letting us participate." "It trusts humans." Zara smiled, adjusting her equipment. "We've trained for situations like this, but nothing compares to this. This is history in the making." Ilara guided them to the central chamber, where the shimmering core pulsed with energy. "The ship has traveled centuries," she said. "It carries knowledge of worlds, civilizations, and technology. Its purpose is to preserve and share, and now it has chosen us to continue that mission." The crew spent hours interfacing with the ship's archives. Each discovery was more incredible than the last. Advanced propulsion systems that could allow faster-than-light travel, energy modules capable of powering entire colonies, and databases filled with information on long-lost alien civilizations. The ship had preserved these treasures not for conquest, but for the benefit of humanity, waiting for the moment when humans were ready. Kai accessed one of the propulsion modules, running simulations. "With this technology, we could reach systems previously beyond our reach, but we must understand it fully. One mistake could destroy us or the ship." Lila studied the holographic star maps. "We need to be cautious. Exploration is vital, but survival is essential. The ship is our guide, but the choices are ours. Every decision matters." Zara added, "And the ship seems to want us to learn. It tests us, shows us the paths, but ultimately it lets us choose. That's trust." Ilara placed a hand on the core. Light radiated through her, and she closed her eyes, listening to the ship's pulse. "It is ready to move," she said finally. "It has waited for this moment, but it will not travel without humans at the helm. We must navigate, learn, and prove that we are worthy of its guidance." The crew prepared the Aurora's dawn to accompany the eclipse as it moved. Sensors were synchronized, data links activated, and life support systems fully integrated. For the first time, humans were not just passengers. They were collaborators with an intelligence older than any human civilization. As they departed the abandoned sector, the eclipse shifted gracefully through the void. Stars streaked past, distant systems glowing faintly. The ship's intelligence guided them along a course that human eyes could barely comprehend, revealing pathways that were previously invisible. Ilara guided the crew through the first test of the ship's course. A dense asteroid field lay ahead, debris from a long-dead star system. Navigation was complex, but with the ship's guidance and the crew's quick thinking, they maneuvered flawlessly. The harmony of human skill and alien intelligence was clear. "Steady," Lila commanded. "Trust the ship, but also trust yourselves." The asteroid field proved challenging, but the humans adapted quickly. Zara demonstrated remarkable agility, monitoring structural shifts and providing real-time adjustments. Kai made technical calibrations, ensuring the Aurora's dawn remained in perfect sync with the eclipse. Ilara remained the link between them and the ship, sensing the subtle changes in the vessel's energy and guiding their choices. When they emerged from the field, the stars opened up into a vast, uncharted region. Lila stared at the holographic map projected from the eclipse. "We are the first humans to set eyes on this part of space," she said softly. "Everything we discover here will belong to humanity, and to anyone who comes after us." Ilara smiled faintly. "The ship waited for humans capable of courage, intelligence, and compassion. You have proven that you are worthy. Now we carry its mission forward." For the next several days, the crew explored uncharted systems, each revealing new wonders. They discovered planets with breathable atmospheres, rich in resources, and some with hints of long-extinct civilizations. Ancient ruins floated silently in space, their architecture unlike anything humans had seen, preserved perfectly by time and isolation. The ship's intelligence guided them carefully. At times, it would lead them to hidden dangers, unstable stars, gravitational anomalies, or volatile gas giants. Every challenge reinforced the lessons the crew had learned. Adaptability, observation, and cooperation were key to survival. During one particularly tense moment, a sudden solar flare erupted from a nearby star. The Aurora's dawn's shields flickered, and the ship rocked violently. Lila shouted commands, directing the crew to stabilize systems and maintain course. Ilara sensed the ship's awareness of the flare and quickly communicated adjustments through her link. Kai worked frantically at the controls. "We can make it! Shields at full capacity, rerouting power to propulsion!" The eclipse pulsed in response, its energy core flaring softly, guiding them through the storm. Every decision, every action worked in harmony. The flare passed, leaving the crew exhilarated and grateful. Humanity had faced danger and survived, not by chance, but through courage, intelligence, and unity. As the stars returned to their calm brilliance, Ilara turned to Lila. "We are ready for the next phase. The ship has shown us enough to trust ourselves. The mission can continue." Lila nodded. "Then we chart a course beyond even these systems. Humanity has always sought the unknown. Now, with this ship, we can reach further than ever before." The next challenge was the discovery of a massive, ancient station floating near a dying star. Its structure was enormous, covered in symbols similar to those found in the eclipse. It seemed abandoned, yet the crew could sense a lingering intelligence within. The ship guided them carefully, aligning with docking ports and scanning for hazards. Inside the station, they found technology beyond imagination. Power cores that could illuminate entire planets, data archives of civilizations long forgotten, and constructs that suggested knowledge of interstellar travel far exceeding human capabilities. Every object, every record, told a story of preservation and foresight. Ilara walked through the chamber, her hands lightly touching the panels. This station, it is connected to the ship. The eclipse was part of a network, a guardian of knowledge across the stars. And now, it has chosen us to continue this work. Kai studied the systems. If we understand this technology, humanity could advance centuries in a single generation. But we must be careful. Knowledge without wisdom can be dangerous. Zara looked at him seriously. And that's why we must lead with courage and responsibility. We've learned that in the eclipse, humans are capable of more than survival. We can guide, protect, and learn. Lila stepped forward, placing her hand on a control panel. The ship responded, pulsing brightly. "We are ready," she said. "Humanity will carry forward what you have preserved. We will honor your trust." The pulse of the ship seemed to vibrate through the station, acknowledging their readiness. The corridor lights glowed softly, machinery hummed with approval, and for a moment, humans and ship existed as one, a partnership of intelligence, courage, and determination. As the crew prepared to leave, the eclipse gently detached from the station. Its core pulsed steadily, guiding them safely away from the dying star. The Aurora's dawn followed in perfect synchronization, each vessel moving as if aware of the other's presence. Days turned into weeks as they traveled together, exploring uncharted systems, mapping new worlds, and documenting discoveries for humanity. The bond between humans and the ship grew stronger. Every challenge, gravitational anomalies, cosmic storms, and unknown dangers, was met with skill, intuition, and trust. Through it all, the crew realized something profound. Humanity's strength did not lie in technology alone, nor in the stars they traveled. It lay in courage, curiosity, empathy, and intelligence. The eclipse had recognized these traits and chosen to entrust its mission to them. Ilara stood in the central chamber one evening, watching the stars outside. "The ship waited for us," she said softly. "It knew we would rise to the challenge, and now we can carry its mission beyond the limits of what it has done." Lila placed a hand on her shoulder. "Then we do it. Humanity has always reached for the stars. Now we reach with purpose, with knowledge, and with respect for what came before us." Kai and Zara joined them, looking at the pulsing core of the ship. It shone brightly, a beacon of life, intelligence, and hope. "We are not alone," Kai said quietly. "The universe is vast, but humans, we are capable of greatness." And so, the Aurora's dawn and the eclipse continued their journey together. They ventured farther than any human had ever gone, discovering new worlds, preserving knowledge, and proving that humanity could rise to any challenge. The ship's mission became theirs, and humanity's courage and ingenuity ensured that the legacy of life, intelligence, and exploration would continue among the stars. The knocking had ceased long ago, replaced by a rhythm of trust, understanding, and shared purpose. Humans and ship moved forward together, partners in the infinite expanse of space, ready for whatever mysteries awaited. For the first time, the crew understood the truth. The universe was vast, full of unknown dangers and wonders, but humanity was not defined by fear. Humanity was defined by its courage, its curiosity, and its unyielding spirit. And in the silent, drifting stars, they shone brighter than any light, carrying the hope of life, discovery, and the boundless potential of humankind into the endless future.